Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining my podcast. So, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, and maraban. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to yet another live stream and the 11th episode of my podcast. Each one teach 10 an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid, and we all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. So, I have a very special guest with me. Let's have her here in three, two, one. Hey, Anne, how are you?
Hello, Namya. Hello, thank you. And I'm so excited to join you on this live stream today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to have you here. So, let me tell you more about Anne. Anne loves to explore, share, and contribute, and has spent 19 plus years dedicated to transform education as a classroom teacher, innovation, and instructional support TOSA, and also as an educator innovation leader at Team Flipgrid and at Microsoft. It's my pleasure to have you here. And how are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, I'm so excited. It's an honor to have had you asked me to join your podcast today. Congratulations on the 11th episode. I know this is the second live stream, and I feel like I'm having a super fan moment getting to speak with you because I've been following you for so long on social media. I know I connected through your mother, who's an incredible education leader, who's inspired me and encouraged me as an educator. But getting to see what you're doing as a young woman, not only in STEM, empowering others, I feel like I'm a super fan of you and so inspired by the awards, the accolades, the honor and recognition you've received as a young scholar, but also congrats on hitting 300 subscribers today on your YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. And I think we have our guests and also my subscribers here who are very excited to listen to you. So let's say hi to them. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hi, friends. I see so many names coming in. Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. You can drop your comments, and please feel free to share your views. Also, please feel free to ask any questions to Anne if that's okay with you. Anne?
Of course.
Okay, please feel free to ask. And also, I'll be showcasing your comments. So let's show a few. Okay, we have by Anne.
That's me. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And I have by me, we have Mr. Kaushal Sen. Thank you so much for joining. We have Custom Star. Thank you so much for joining, and it was good meeting you today. We also have Mr. Deepak Pange. Thank you so much for joining, sir. Thank you so much for joining, Ms. Tuhita, and thank you so much for joining, Ms. Mrinal. Okay, so now let's start by interviewing you and asking you some questions. So first of all, I know the audience has joined, so they must be eagerly waiting to know the work you're doing and to know more about you. So I would love to know more about you, and also our audience would love to know more about you.
Yeah, so my background started in education, goodness gracious, around 2001. And I am just now coming into my 20th year in education, but I spent many years teaching inside the classroom in Southern California, first grade, so ages 5 and 6, very young scholars. And I was super passionate about helping my students have fun, but lay a solid academic foundation as they were beginning their journey in school. So I taught beginning skills like phonemic awareness, phonics, reading, early writing skills. And I loved making learning fun and making it an adventure for it to come to life for them. And the interesting thing is I started using technology in 2010 in my classroom, and we went one-to-one in 2010, so a long time ago. And the creative, innovative things that I was learning as an educator allowed me to empower my students in new ways. And I left the classroom to become It's called a teacher on special assignment. So that's what those letters TOSA stand for. And it's like a coach or a specialist in my school district. So I was supporting kindergarten through 8th grade teachers with the innovative and instructional use of technology as a teacher helping teachers. And at that time, I was doing a lot of professional development in California and beyond, and just really excited about being somebody helping others explore new possibilities with technology. And almost 2.5 years ago, I took a position at Microsoft on Team Flipgrid as an educator innovation lead, and love getting to help educators around the world empower their students, but also help them use Flipgrid to find their voice, gain confidence in sharing their voice, have fun sharing their voice. But beyond that, respect the diverse voices of others as we learn on together. So I love being a teacher, helping teachers and connecting with incredible folks everywhere.
That's great. Like you said, you amplify their voices and empower leaders so they can also empower more of the people. That's actually so great, and I'm honored to have you here. So it's been like amazing speaking to you and to know more about you right now. So let's know more about you as well.
Okay.
So I think that it's very superb, and the room is full of excitement right now. And I've seen like you're always smiling. So what is like the secret behind your smile? And what's the energy that you get? So what inspires you behind your smile and your energy as a teacher?
Namya, this is a really great question. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to say right now, because I think there are things that make each person unique, right? And that's one of the beautiful things about this diverse world we live in. Everybody brings some special quality, some unique approach to their own experience in this life. And I was, my mom and dad, shout out to you, mom and dad. Hi, love you. Incredible mentors and role models. My mother was also an educator, and I love to describe her as a firecracker. So she's this short, petite little woman full of energy and excitement, and her father was the same way. So I think I learned early on, be yourself. And if you have that joy inside, don't keep it inside. Let it out and be uniquely you, because that's special. And I think as a first grade teacher, I would arrive at school in the morning, I would get out of my car, and I would immediately start seeing people, and just a smile, a hello, a good morning. So I just want to put that positivity out in the world, because I truly believe we're better together, and you never know how your smile is going to impact somebody. So I just try and share it with the world.
Yes, like your smile and your good morning, even if it's a worker, can make the person's day. So I truly agree with you with that. So I wanted to know from you that who can better advocate the importance of student voice, as I've seen how you've been motivating teachers and educators with such personal touch, and I love that. So it actually builds a connect with the person you just met for a long time. So, what do you have to say about empowering the student voice?
I love this question. And I think one of the things that I believe in is flexible pathways. And this can look different in very different ways. I believe that educators have a great responsibility for providing flexible pathways for students to learn. Students learn differently. I was a very visual learner growing up. I loved engaging, participating, hands-on, creating. I think my sister probably was a very introverted internal processor. So she and I are very different. And that represents the unique way that every student makes up a classroom or learning community. There's no one right pathway. So when educators provide opportunities to use their voice or share their voice, that looks different. Sometimes Sometimes it's in writing. Sometimes it's orally, right? Sometimes it could be through dance or art or sport, for music. And I believe that when we recognize that, we can begin to truly empower each unique voice and the way that it looks. So I have this very specific memory of a boy in my classroom who was making noises with his mouth. And for some, Namya, for some teachers, that might be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You need to be quiet and pay attention, right? I'm sure maybe you've heard that. But I have this very distinct memory of saying to this young boy, how do you do that? That's so cool. I could never do that. And I interrupted a lesson and I had him teach us all how he was doing this, noise that was kind of interrupting the classroom. And we had this fun, lighthearted moment. But I know that made him feel special. And then we redirected it, put some parameters on, hey, maybe at recess time you can make that noise. But I also want to say this. I bet you're going to be famous someday. Maybe you're going to work in sound effects, or maybe you're going to make music with your voice. So empowering that creativity, I just think as long as people, whether you're an educator, whether you're a student talking with your peers, whether you're an administrator or in leadership, when we help people find their voice and gain confidence in using that, we can help each other know appropriate times and ways to use that. But to build it up in each other and to celebrate it in each other as we respect each other's voice and the difference that we bring to conversations.
That's great. And I actually agree with you. Like you just said that the boy was just like making noises and the teachers were scolding them. And I think you have the talent of seeing the things which are different in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like very great at your point. And like you said about student voice and having different things, it can have like speaking, art, or just writing. I think even if like the people who are shy, who don't want to speak, I want to say this, that Flipgrid is actually a very amazing platform for that, because who don't want to speak in the classroom can just like look at the camera and speak it out, and that can help them to be more confident. So I truly believe in that. So I
was just going to say, you make a really great point with that. Whether it's on camera or off camera, I love to talk about those creative elements inside the Flipgrid camera that do provide pathways for people to share. And it can be as simple or as sophisticated, whether it's spoken word, whether it's through sign language, whether it's through, a drawing, an animation, anything. So I think that's the beauty of the difference that we all bring to conversations, right?
That's great. And I wanted to ask from you, like, it's just a surprise question.
Okay.
What's your favorite color and why?
One thing that you will learn about me, I have a really hard time picking one. So I love to say all the things, push all the buttons, right? So all the colors, but if I had to pick one, I think purple. Purple is just this beautiful, sort of mysterious color that shifted on a color spectrum one way or another way. The vibrancy, you can go super light into pinks and super darks into blues and grays and blacks. It's just this beautiful range of color. It makes me feel happy. And maybe I love sunsets. So when the sky just shifts from a beautiful sunny day into the pinks and purples and blues of early night, maybe that's why purple.
That's great. And I must tell you this, like when I was doing art, our teacher teaches about secondary colors and the primary colors.
Okay.
So she also I researched about the colors, and I came to know about the meaning behind colors. So I think it's basically that it's both warm and cool, and it combines mostly about having compassion and being calm, like you said about the sunset.
Mm,
It's like very calm and gives you the energy of red and serenity of blue because it's like beach and sunset.
I
And
love
it's also more like having royalty, mystery, luxury, so and also spirituality. So like my favorite is blue,
it. Is
but I
it?
like, yes, it's blue because I love the watercolor when it's like on the beach or in the pool. But it's also just because I'm a scorpion, so scorpions live in water. That's why sun sign.
That's so
That's why.
cool.
It might be funny, but I still know I'm attracted to everything blue. That's why, like for my podcast as well, you can see it's the name is blue. It's if it was anything, I'll always choose blue
I
in
love
my
it.
in everything. Thank you. And let's move on to the next question now. So you might have heard about like imagine if it's a powerful context and it is inspired by Sir Ken's observation that life on Earth is
Mhm.
a power of imagination. So imagine if girls are empowered for STEM. So would you say about like completing this line?
I love this, and I think to go back to Sir Ken Robinson and this provocation to imagine if. I know there's a global celebration coming up next week in honor of him and his life and the legacy of his work. And I think back to 2013, I had the great privilege of sitting in the front row hearing him speak. And when I heard him talk about the power of creativity and the ability to transform what learning looks like for future generations of students, it was at a time in my career where we were very early into integrating a one-to-one program with technology in our classroom. I learned from him that it's okay to think outside of the box and break away from old systems of education. And the idea to imagine if, and your own provocation, imagine if girls are empowered for STEM. This is the future. We know
Yes.
that girls are underrepresented in these STEM related fields and science related fields. But I think of young women like you. I think of young women like Lily Havish, who just came into the Flipgrid Discovery Library as
Yes.
as a creator. She's a domino artist, but she's using all kinds of domino arts and STEM related topics to really challenge people to dig in. And Namya, this is what I think about imagining if for STEM.
That's
Imagine,
great.
imagine if we empowered people to play to learn, because science, technology, engineering, maths, all of the critical thinking, all of those four C's, the creativity, the collaboration, the communication, all of that drives STEM related work, right? Whether it's engineering a massive Lego or domino structure, what kind of work goes into building that? The timing, the space, the physical layout, the dimensions, that triggers so much learning and so
Yes.
much, I mean, everything. It's like cross curricular in so many ways. So I think you're an incredible example to imagine if, not only with having conversations to get people to raise awareness and ignite some sort of change in it, but hearing you and using your examples for the way perhaps you're building in Minecraft and using something that maybe some folks consider as a play-based learning to really shift and transform it to the critical knowledge, the critical information and skill it takes to build a complex world through some gamified or play-based structure, right? So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts when you imagine if STEM? I mean, I know some of the work that you do. I would love to hear your thoughts on imagine if girls are empowered in STEM.
I think imagine if girls are empowered. So imagine if there will be gender equality. There won't be any gender inequality. There will be gender equality, and every girl will be empowered. they'll be taking steps forward because girls can be change makers.
Yeah.
And probably imagine if there is technological revolution spearheaded by girls.
Yep.
And imagine if there are smart girls like you and me, and competing them will be challenging. So that's what I think.
And I think too, so you mentioned this gender equality, and we know with the sustainable development goals and conversations that folks are having specifically related to SDG 5, right? Achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. But really, when you invest in girls and women, all of the SDGs are impacted, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to share a quote from Malala that says, "Every girl deserves to take part in creating the technology that will change our world and change who runs it." So as we imagine if we continue every day to invest in the empowerment and the achievement and the equality for girls and women, that changes everything.
True, that's actually amazing. And I'm also showing some comments by people have written. It's so great to have you all here and you're giving us so much positivity. So let's quickly showcase them. Wow,
I
that's
love
great.
this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Brian Sanders, for coming. It's an honor to have you here. Okay, so now let's move on. I wanted to know from you how vital is it to amplify the teacher's voice as well while we're doing the student voice?
So this is a really interesting question too, and I love your take on this. And when I was thinking about what like teacher voice, that's one thing that I love to do is amplify educator voice, whether it's utilizing social media to share an idea that somebody has shared from their own classroom or their own experience. Oftentimes educators' voices inside of the system, if you will, are not amplified because they're not necessarily in the position as a decision maker, but they're the ones who are in the classrooms doing the work, building learning communities. So teacher voice is vital. Teacher voice is critical. And I think that when we give space to it, that's why so many educators flock to social communities like Twitter or Clubhouse or Instagram, because it's a way they find other people to be in community with and to celebrate that creativity and to build each other up and encourage each other. And so teachers are the ones making it happen every day. And I will stand on my soapbox every single day and say, educators are heroes. Teachers are heroes, and they are impacting every profession going forward. They are building up future scientists, future doctors, future engineers, future educators. They are building our future. Yes, this quote from Valerie Lewis. Valerie, yes. Educators matter and amplify their voices. And I try and do that every day in the way that I work as a teacher helping teachers. So I'm going to cheer them on and I'm going to say teacher voice matters, and we need to continue to amplify it and find new ways to amplify it. Oh, hang on.
I got muted. Really sorry for that. And sorry for the clutches, everybody. So I truly agree on that because teacher voice matters a lot. Because unless the teachers won't speak, why would the students' voice matter? Because when the teacher starts training students, that's when they get their voice and that's when they start speaking. So first of all, it's the teacher's voice starts matter, and then we start the student's voice.
Yeah.
So I think Dr. Brian has a question for you. So let's quickly show it to you. So how do you approach the question of traditional exams and their value in a constructivist classroom?
So this is a very interesting question, and I think it's sort of something that folks around the world are trying to explore. And what does it mean to have a traditional exam, or how that might continue a structure or system that might not be fair or equitable for all students. Some of the interesting things I've been thinking about and listening to and learning about is what it looks like when we actually let performance kind of guide the understanding, or when students submit perhaps a performance-based portfolio or a series of documentation to prove skill, concept, understanding, the ability to take and use that information rather than filling in bubbles on a test,
Yeah,
right? So if you
true.
think about some technical careers, I mean, mechanical engineers, for example, is like a portfolio review. Do you know how to take apart an engine? Can you build an engine and put it back together? It's not filling in bubbles, what goes first, what goes second, what goes third. So what about looking at alternative ways for students to demonstrate understanding, prove competency outside of tests? Those are the big questions that I don't know we have answers to yet.
True. And that's great that you answered it. And I'm really inspired by all the words you're saying. It's like all going inside, but not going outside because it has to be inside. Okay, so I think Mr. Deepa Pange has a question for you. So he says that are you going to make some improvements of Flipgrid to make students understand quickly?
So this is a great question. Thank you. I am excited about the future of Flipgrid. I cannot give away any secrets except to say that we continue to invest in the Flipgrid camera as a creative storytelling tool, and the flexibility. I think that's one of the things I love so much about Flipgrid, is how folks use it in different ways. So I'm not sure if this question is directed at understanding like what the buttons inside of Flipgrid mean, or if it means helping them connect with content information much quicker. If you want to follow up on this question, but I definitely feel confident in saying we love the feedback from educators around the world on how you would like to see Flipgrid continue to improve, from ideas to make simple fixes or improvements, to suggestions for new features they would love to see inside of Flipgrid. What you are doing and what you are sharing as a learning community around the world, we take that to heart. And we listen, and we want to build forward with all of you. So please, please connect and share ideas that you have about continuing to improve Flipgrid.
That's great, Anne. And we have some more questions popping up. So let me quickly show the comments and the questions as well. Thank you so much, Ms. Deepika Meglani, to be here. And we have Valerie, Miss Valerie. She's asking that are scores on an exam a true reflection of the depth, complex, and the nuisances of students? They don't tell the whole story.
Yeah, that's a very powerful statement. Scores are not a true reflection of the depth and complexity of students. And if you take that idea from Valerie Lewis and share what Mary Alice Curran just said, if you judge me on my test scores, I would have been a complete failure. So grateful for this conversation. So that's a beautiful way to bridge this idea from Valerie to Mary Alice, that exam scores are not a true reflection. I remember probably failing every AP physics test I took in high school, but the things that I remember from school are what made me a whole and better person. Rich experiences in communities, learning and gaining leadership skills, the ability to work collaboratively with students on a project and share and showcase that project. And I think, again, the whole story of a child is more than a piece of paper or more than an exam score. And Namya, I used to, when I left the classroom as a teacher and became a coach in my district, I always talked with my fellow educators about our students are more than data points. They're more than children sitting in row after row after row in a classroom. Everybody is a unique individual. Everybody has a unique skill set. Everybody has a unique set of passion that makes them them. So when we start looking at a bigger picture, we see the bigger picture of every individual in the classroom.
That's great. So now let's come upon our questions. I'm eagerly waiting to ask you. So I have another surprise question. What's your favorite emoji?
Oh my gosh. I think I love this question. Again, not wanting to limit myself to just one answer. I love the little smiley face with the glasses and the, the little teeth, kind of like the scholar. I like that. I like that one. I love the green heart, of course. Green for Flipgrid, and just heart because of the absolute love and connectivity as a better together mindset. But I use that hands up praise emoji. That's probably my most favorite and most used emoji, that I'm just like, it could be everything. It could be like, yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm celebrating you. Hands up. I mean, yeah, those are probably the three I use the most.
That's great. If I tell you mine, it's like bursting out of tears and having teary eyes, me laughing. Whenever my friends send me something funny, that's what I do. And so you don't have to say anything. You just have to send that emoji, and then she'll be happy. That's
so
it.
I love that that's your favorite emoji. I was watching a live stream you were on last week where you put out a truth or dare challenge for somebody to do some silly things live on air. And I was bursting out in tears laughing at that moment. So that makes a lot of sense, knowing it's your favorite emoji.
Yeah, because I actually chose truth because I didn't have like the courage to ask her to bark like a dog. It's like on YouTube, everybody's watching, but it's just for fun. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
It was silly. And you know what? As an adult, taking a moment to be silly and connect back to that childhood sense of joy and silliness, that's what we do. We're lifelong learners. We're all growing on the journey. So I don't ever want to take myself so seriously that I couldn't bark like a dog. Like, let's just enjoy it.
You're so funny. You're literally so funny. Okay, so we want to know though, where can we find you online so that everyone watching us can contact you?
Yeah, so on the screen right down here, my handle, Kozma723. That's my handle on all social platforms. So I live on Twitter. I hang out there all the time. Definitely, please feel free to get connected. You can find me on Instagram at Kozma723. That's my Facebook. It's my TikTok. That's my Clubhouse handle. So you'll find me everywhere right here at Kozma723. But beyond that, I love to say on social media, the Flipgrid for All hashtag, that's where my community is. That's what I love to describe as the loudest, proudest, most rad, totally awesome, epic community of educators and friends of EDU working together to support each other. So definitely, hey, Mitch, definitely check out Flipgrid for All on social as well.
Thank you so much. And before we sign off, any message you would like to give to our audience? Because they've been very excited today listening to you.
Well, I love this. And I feel like, I mean, if I start sharing one thing, I'll just keep sharing all the things, but don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. You all are making a difference every single day. I love to say teachers bring the heart and hustle to learning communities around the world. But if you are a student, dream big and don't forget that your voice matters. I 100% believe that we are all better together. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in, because you make me better as a human and as an individual. And I hope that I can reciprocate that in some way for you. And Namya, to you, I want to say thank you. And you have no idea how inspirational you are to me to folks around the world, where we get to see and hear and learn from you and your mission. Each one teach 10 is making ripples literally around the world. So I think my last thing is simply to say thank you. I am your super fan, and I want to continue to cheer you on as you grow forward and make this world a better place. So thank you so much for inviting me to come on today.
Thank you so much, Anne, and I thank you for coming and just making everybody laugh and tell them different things. I had so much fun with you, and I must tell you, I think I this is the first time I laughed that loud when you just like barked like a dog. That was so funny.
I
So
love
thank you so much,
it. Of course.
and I must say to everybody, you should keep on spreading happiness, amplifying student-teacher voice, and keep on smiling and make someone's day. So thank you everyone for listening to this podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to stay tuned for another live stream. Have a nice day. Bye.